Hello everyone, we are live and welcome to Thursday Live Lessons here on Ukulele Underground. My name is Aldrin Guerrero. I'm joined by Mr. Aaron, the voice Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
Welcome back, sir. We also have Kahai, the legend Fergan. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
So all three of us are here. Voltron is complete. We have the head, torso, legs, and arms. We are all good. We're going to be doing Thursday Live Lesson as we usually do. We're going to get questions and we're going to answer them. That's how this works. So this is kind of like ask us anything, kind of thing. But if you guys want, you can watch this. You can. If for all of you folks who are watching this right now on UU Plus, this is a viewable format. But if you did not know, we do have a podcast version of this show. You can download over on iTunes. And for those of you folks who are listening on iTunes, watch it on UU Plus. So what are you waiting for? Sign up for UU Plus to watch Thursday Live Lessons, because a lot of the stuff that we do is we explain things, and I have my ukulele in front of me and I kind of show you folks how to do certain things, and it doesn't quite translate in a podcast version. So if you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Sign up for UU Plus. Kahai can tell you how good UU Plus is, right? Kahai, tell him.
Very good.
Right
please sign up so I can have my paycheck.
Can continue to work.
But how it works here, like I mentioned, we get questions and you're gonna get them answered. I'm gonna try to answer them to my best abilities, and the two gentlemen to my left and my right are going to be helping me out to give you the best answer possible. So let's get started. Kahai.
Rona said, I have a hard time playing without music to look at. Is there any tips for playing on the spot? Or playing for her friends and family too?
Okay, so I'm guessing she wants to play he or she. I don't,
she, I think.
She, okay. I'm guessing, like she relies too much on the music when she plays for her, for her family. She kind of gets like, oh, like what do I do, right? So, I've had that question before. I used to have a student. I'm not gonna say who, but I used to have a student who, I would give private lessons to, and she would always bring her music, and she was.
I was gonna say, we're not gonna name who, but their name rhymes with Wat Wahlberg.
Yeah, well, not Wat. Or maybe. You might be Wat. I don't know. But anyway, this particular person, she would, or he or she, would always kind of get tensed up because, they get nervous. So just like that, what's her name with the question? Rona, just like Rona would. I suggested to them to if it's just gonna be a song with lyrics and stuff like that, usually those kind of songs they have they have chord patterns. So I would tell my students, just kind of look at the chord pattern, break it down into if there's an intro, if there's a verse, if there's a chorus, if there's a bridge. So those four those four things. And usually they have a chord pattern, like I mentioned. If you were to memorize just the chord pattern, then you'll know that every time, say, the chorus comes up, then this is the chord pattern. If the verse comes up, then you know that this is the chord pattern. So you just have to memorize those few chord patterns. And for those of you folks who watch us here on Thursday Live, we've talked about chord families before. So now with chord families, it breaks it down to just 7 chords, within that key. So it's not like you're trying to memorize like a lot of 20, 30 different kind of chords. It's going to be just a combination of or any combination of 7 different chords within the key, unless you have a key change, which then makes it 14, I guess. But for the most part, it's usually sticks to one key, and you only have 7 chords to kind of worry about, and you just have to think about what order they go in. So for example, if I were playing let's see, what is that Eric Clapton song that we play all the time? Wonderful Tonight. So Wonderful Tonight, you're gonna have that G. So let's see, there's like the intro and verse, which is the same thing. So that's usually a plus, because sometimes intro, verse, and sometimes even the chorus, they're the same chords. So we would have G, B minor, then A minor, and then D. So then G, B minor, C, D, or A minor, D. It's like the same thing over and over again. And then it gets to the chorus, which is C, G, B minor, E minor, A minor, then D, then G. So all I have to do is like that's pretty much the only part of the song where there's kind of a lot of chords, not the same 4 chords over and over again. So that first part I would just kind of I would memorize that. Okay, G, B minor, A minor, D. G, B minor, A minor, D. It's, you know, you can even like create like you know, a way to kind of remember like G, B minor, A minor, D. So you can do G, B, A, D or something. G bad. You know, it's like, oh, this song is G bad. So G, B, A, D. You know, so that's one way to kind of remember things. And then when you get to the chorus, that's like, you know, that takes a little bit more, but it's just as easy. You know, so it's gonna be C, then D, G, B minor, E minor. So that when it comes to those kind of things, I would kind of group them together. So I would be like C and D first, so C, D, and then G, B minor, E minor, so G, B, E. So C, D, G, B, E, like then C, D again.
Can you maybe play how you would group those chords together?
Yeah, okay.
Because I think it's easier to think about it when you actually hear it.
Okay. So during the chorus, it goes D, la, da, 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 dum. So that's, you know, nice and simple, and it goes la da 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 dum, la da 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 dum, la da 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 dum, la dum. So let's just think of it as C, D, then G, G, B, E, and then another C, D. So C, D, G, B, E, C, D. If you group them like 3 different, you know, into 3 different groups, instead of going like C, D, G, B, E, C, D, you know, like doing it, you know, like 7 different, 7 chord combinations. So instead of doing that, you can just do 2, 3, and 2. So the first one is 4, then the next one is 2, 3, 2. And then the rest of the song is just the same 4 chords over and over again. That's kind of how I used to memorize things. My student in particular, she, you know, started to kind of remember things that way. But if you are playing music that, you know, that is like a solo ukulele kind of thing, that's going to be a little bit different. So there is going to be a different advice for that, because there's no way around it. You're just going to have to kind of memorize the memorize the song. But I would approach it kind of like this, you know, kind of like how I would with memorizing the chords. I would just memorize the parts. So I would have, you know, maybe the verse and then the chorus of the song and then maybe the bridge. So I would just like I would dedicate a day to learning just one thing, and then seeing if I can take my music away, and then seeing if I can play that part in the song without reading the music. I'll just spend an entire day just doing just that, just the intro or just the verse or just the chorus. And then the next day when I practice again, I'm gonna learn, you know, like the next part, and then I'll see if I can play it without it. And then at the end of my practice, say if I were practicing for 30 minutes, maybe the last 10 minutes of my practice, I will see if I can play what I learned yesterday, you know, like go back and then see if I can connect it with that. So if I learned the verse the day before, I'd see if I can play the verse without looking at my music, and then go into the chorus without looking at my music. So it's like one of those things that if you break things down into more like digestible pieces, and then it's easy to memorize things. I
think the more you play it too, just the easier it gets. Like, yeah, because I think like, or I know like some people have a really hard time like giving up sheet music, and then giving up like having something in front of them that tells them exactly where they're gonna go, right? But like I feel like if you play more and you play songs, or a lot of songs, a lot of different songs, you kind of realize like, oh, music just like it kind of always there's like patterns. Or like if you play one chord, it's like you can kind of start to recognize like, oh, I'm probably gonna go to this next chord anyways. And I think it starts becoming less about like that memorizing individual songs, and more about like just recognizing like, oh what chords go where, or like, oh, I know this pattern, like this is I might not know this song, but I know this pattern, so it's easy to recognize, right? If I'm gonna go C, I might either go D or G, you know, like when it comes to like songs like that. Also, one of the best advice that I can give you too, if you're playing for your friends and family, do not, or just with anyone really, like do not be afraid to make mistakes. So I feel like a lot of this anxiety of like playing without your music stems from like you
being scared to mess up. You being scared to mess up in front of your friends, in front of your family. These people like just want to hear you play. Honestly, if I'm gonna give you advice, that's all they want to do. They want to hear you play. So they don't need to hear you play perfectly. They just want to hear you play. They want to not. Either they want to be entertained, or they want to see like your progress, or they just want to they just want to share, or they just want you to share with them what you've been doing, or how you've been progressing, or what you sound like, really. So don't be scared to mess up. It's your friends and family, so they shouldn't judge you in that way, that like, hey, you messed up this measure 34, like that F sharp was not F sharp, you played
that,
E or
that
F
was
or
an
whatever.
F natural,
Exactly. I heard an F natural in there, which should have been an F sharp. They're not going to be critical. Do not be afraid to mess up. So if you come in playing for your friends and family with the thought that like, hey, they want you to do good, they want to hear what you have so far, and if it's a work in progress and you're kind of like messing it up and stuff, it's not a problem at all. Like, I'm sure people just want to hear you. I think that's the bottom line. People just want to hear something, anything, even if you just play like a verse or two. If you're talking about playing in front of your friends and family, if you just play just like one of the verse, or maybe just the chorus of something. God knows I just play the chorus of a lot of songs, like when I jam and stuff.
And that's the thing too. If you're talking about like a song that you're playing and singing at the same time, just focus on the repeating pattern.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people in Hawaii, the famous beginner song is Surf. So it's C, A minor, F, G7, and it's that throughout the entire thing. Yeah. And it's the same amount of measures, like you play da-dun, da-da-da-dun. So like one measure for C, one measure for A minor, one measure for F, one measure for G7. And you just do that over and over. Yeah. And like that song actually has a bridge to it, but nobody knows it. Everybody says, "Oh yeah, I can play Surf," but nobody knows the bridge, and that's just because like as a beginner song, we don't care about the bridge.
Yeah, so I can play Surf.
I can play Surf.
Yeah, I can play Surf.
And so that's kind of the thing. Like, don't be afraid to just do that and be happy with doing that.
They just want to hear anything, really. They just want to hear you play ukulele.
Yeah, and once you get comfortable with that, you'll notice that other songs are exactly like that, different, different parts.
Right.
And then it kind of leaves it up to once you get that down, you just have to remember the lyrics.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you have any
advice
for learning the lyrics
wise? Just whatever advice you gave me, Aaron, which is like, Aaron told me to kind of think of the song as like a story, so that like, or like basically a story. So you'll remember the story a lot easier if it's like, okay, this happens in the first verse, and this happens in the second verse, and this happens in the third verse or bridge. If you think about it that way, then like only words that will pertain to that part of the story will go in that verse. Like, you're not going to be talking about like, you're not going to jump in around in the story and talk about this when you haven't talked about that yet. But I'm still working on that advice. Like, it works, it really does, but I don't know, I get anxiety like when I'm on stage and stuff.
So, sometimes it always is like
because I'm in my car. I've been practicing Benny and the Jets lately, and this is like in my car singing it perfectly, like along with Elton John in the car and stuff. But like once I get on stage and like I'm in front of the microphone, I'm like, just kidding, we're not gonna play that song. Just joke.
So that's another thing too, is just the more that you do it, the more comfortable you get. Because the first time out, it's always gonna be like kind of you're overthinking it, and then you like rush some lyrics and hold back. So it's kind of you just gotta do it and get comfortable with it, and the more comfortable you get, the more natural it'll flow.
And that's the thing, like not everyone knows the lyrics to every song in the world. Like,
so they won't call you out.
They won't call you out. You have no idea.
In fact, most people don't know the verses of any song.
They just know the chorus. If you get the chorus down, it's all good. Like
you can make up whatever else during the verse, and it's like, that's
half the time that's what I do. Like I just make up like the verse. We do this song called "Lay Down, Sally." I don't actually know all the verses for that. Sometimes I sing the same verse like 3 times, and no one notices. So I mean, I guess people will now. Like
and Summer Breeze, Summer Breeze.
Yeah, Summer Breeze. Yeah,
there's like a whole verse that we don't do. And Friend of the Devil is another
Yeah, that's
one.
what. Yeah, I've just accepted it because I learned it. I learned that missing verse. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Never mind. I've been playing it this way for years. I'm just gonna play it that way. So it's, you know what, a guy like myself, I've been playing professionally for about 20 years, and
nobody even notices that you're missing an entire verse.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was interesting that you said that you sing in your car.
Yeah.
Like, because I think that's something that a lot of people, they don't discredit, but they don't even think about it. Is like, why, if you're gonna learn a song, like, or you're trying to learn a song for performing, you might want to just like listen to it as much as you can. Like, get that song stuck in your head, like, so that even if you don't know what chord is coming next, you can hear it in your head, right? Like, oh, that, you know, it's supposed to go to that E minor, that C, whatever. Like, you can hear it yourself, and I don't know. I feel like once you do that, it's like hard if you're gonna switch to a chord and it's not that chord. It's like you kind of tell yourself like, don't go there, like that's not the chord. Like, you know what chord is in your head.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing too. I mean, we've taught that here on Thursday as well, where like some chords sound like they're gonna go somewhere, or some chords sound like home, some chords sound like kind of sad. So it's like, if you just like what Kahai was saying, if you listen to the song enough and be familiar enough with the song, you're gonna know that, like when I mentioned earlier, there's like 7 chords in the the chord family. So it's probably not going to be that diminished chord, so we can just already take that out. So we have 6 chords to choose from, and because you'll know when you hear that diminished chord, you'll know that, oh yeah, that's going to be the diminished chord, but usually it's not. So take that out. Then you then think about like, does it sound major, does it sound minor? And once you break that down, once you can differentiate the sound difference between a major chord and a minor chord, either happy or sad sounding, you're like, okay, well, that's the next chord sounds like it's going to be a minor chord. Then in that sense, you only have 3 chords to choose from, so it really narrows it down. If you if you're really worried about getting things perfect like that, if you're one of those people, then I would suggest getting really familiar with chord families and how each chord sounds like, so you can at least have an idea of what might come next.
I think just learning by like listening is like such a huge thing, that like if you can gradually like step away from learning from sheet music and learn by like listening, like it kind of, and sheet music is good, but then it kind of like eventually like you don't need sheet music at all, and you might need it for like lyrics or certain things maybe that like are weird, but you kind of like, it opens up your whole world, right? Like, and you're like, oh, I can play like millions of songs.
More freedom, really.
Yeah, and instead of, oh, I gotta be really familiar with this one song and how it goes. You can be like, oh yeah, like you start to realize like, oh, all these songs are the same thing. They might just be like a little in a different key or something, like slightly different. So
yeah, that's that's how music is, just a bunch of patterns. So if the more you play these patterns, the more familiar you get with these patterns, the more you're gonna get comfortable with, without the crutch that is sheet music, because that's what I feel like it is. In ukulele, I mean, unless you're playing concertos, like ukulele concertos and stuff, like I really feel there's no need for music if you try hard enough.
Like, so we're all in band, but I think like probably you can speak to this the most, because like, didn't you say, Aaron, like that you didn't really like learn how to read music?
Oh yeah,
I just memorized it.
I still don't know how to read music, like sight read music.
Yeah,
I can like decipher music, like I could look at it and like, okay, that is a G note, and then the next one is
a C,
count up,
E.
like
Oh really?
Yeah, and so like, so if I was at home, I would be doing that, but like for the most part, I'll just listen to the person next to me and what they're playing and memorize the rhythm and and
the
then
tone.
yeah. And so when I was in middle school, I would do that so well, and then I would kind of like add expression better than the second chair, so I'd be first chair,
You're
but I
piggybacking on the second chair.
I would listen to the second chair and how like he or she plays it.
Yeah.
And then I would play it better than them, but it would only be through memorization.
that was like kind of the same thing with me too, where I could kind of read music, but I could never read it fast enough to be like reading and playing
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I would never be like, oh yeah, obviously like I just do this.
Yeah.
Like with my trumpet, right?
Yeah.
Like I have to like sit down and be like, okay, I play that note, then I play this note. And I kind of feel like that's like, I mean, that's like the whole point is, or maybe there's some people like, or maybe could you like sight read and just like,
I mean, we were always on our toes. Like I had to defend my chair. So the thing is, Mr. McIntosh, my old band teacher, like he made it so that you can always challenge for a chair at any time. And so if you challenge for a chair, he had music ready, like for people. So he would just give you music to sight read, and that person that you're challenging. It'd be a random thing.
Haven't seen before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's between you and that person that you're challenging. Whoever plays it better, you either keep your chair or you switch chairs.
Yeah.
So you as like a third chair, I don't know, fifth or something, could challenge for the first chair.
Oh, yeah.
So you can move up like
challenge.
that.
Yeah.
But
as high up as you want.
But then that first chair is defending his first chair.
Yeah,
He's like the best. You know, like Brian Fujimoto is Brian Fujimoto. Like, we're talking. He's really good. So I was first chair second. I was like, no, you know what? I'm not gonna practice like that.
I wasn't in band for very long. I was in
he
middle school band in
Mr.
like
McIntosh,
freshman year.
For all those of you folks at home, if you've never seen the movie Whiplash, like go watch the movie Whiplash. My teacher was basically that teacher.
Same.
Have you seen that?
No,
movie?
but you've told me.
Oh
about
man,
it.
that movie is great. Have you seen La La Land?
No.
You seen The Greatest Showman?
Yeah.
Same guy who made that movie.
Yeah. Director or producer?
I think both. The writer, director.
Writer.
Yeah.
Like, well, I think like for people who can't like sight read and just like, they can just play whatever, like they can read the notes and play it at like the same time while reading, right? Like those people, like it is just a thing where it's like you use the sheet of music. At least this is how I did it. Use the sheet of music to learn the music, and then I just have it all memorized.
And then just
like
memorize,
the entire song, like memorized basically. And then so it's like when the teacher's like, okay, flip over your stand. I was like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, because I don't
I'm doing it anyway.
I don't use my music anyways.
Yeah.
I think.
Were you first chair?
Yeah, for middle school.
Oh, nice.
But that's kind of like with musical, like wind instruments, it's like single notes.
Yeah.
And so if you're talking about like piano, keyboard, or like
that
even
note
ukulele,
will go up and down.
yeah,
You just have to kind of listen.
In order to sight read like keyboard music, forget about it. But like, I mean, Jim is in the chat and he's like a keyboard player, like foremost. So yeah, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I had somebody who like sent me a message on the site, and then they're like, I'm going to ukulele camp and they're gonna be handing out music, and I'm so afraid, like I don't know if I can do it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're not gonna ask you to sight read though.
Yeah,
like
you'll be working on it.
Yeah, and ukulele is like such a like inviting, friendly community and instrument that it's very rare that like people are gonna, and like you said earlier too, like how that person might be afraid of performing. Like it really isn't like if you learn piano and you got to do a piano recital.
It's not a recital.
And it's like everybody's sitting there all stiff, and then it's like, oh no, I faked my way through piano too. Like I didn't learn how to read in piano either.
See,
so.
My sister, like I think I've said this story before. My sister, like my parents gave my sister piano lessons, and we had like a Casio keyboard like at the house, and she had piano lessons, and that's exactly what she would do. She'd like look at the beginner music, which is just like whatever, like Twinkle Twinkle or whatever. Like she would just memorize like how to play those. She wouldn't actually like read the book. Like she would just memorize those. And then like after maybe 5-6 lessons, like she quit because she's like, I don't like this. And I was always like, what the heck? I wanted to learn piano. I wanted to like get piano lessons because I was actually like interested in learning how to how to play it. And I was interested in music at that at that point. But I'm like, man, I wouldn't have slacked off. Like, and I was trying to tell my parents, I wouldn't have done that. You wasted all this money like, to do that. I wouldn't have done that. But yeah, like I've learned to sight read because of survival, basically, like to defend my chair.
So Jim is in the chat now, and he kind of just posted that when you sight read, like for keyboard, he's talking about keyboard, you don't actually read the notes, you read the shapes. Which is,
in a way. Yeah, in a way.
Yeah. And that's kind of, if you bring it back to ukulele, like if you're trying to memorize a song, you kind of just memorize the shapes too. Like when you're talking about going from like G, B minor, E minor.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking the notes, like what notes or whatever. I'm thinking about triangle, bar, and ladder. You know, like
stairs.
Stairs. Yeah, I'm thinking that.
That's a joke from Friends, right? Like Phoebe's like,
this
is Bear Claw.
Yeah.
Why aren't you playing Bear Claw?
Yeah, that's basically.
Or like Joey's like, G minor. And she's like, G minor? Did you take guitar lessons?
Spell your hats.
Yeah.
Pick.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I mean, it seems easily digestible if you think in shapes instead of like names of things.
You do, and it's like it's about reading on. If we're talking like sheet music, like if you know the like you said, the shape of the notes. If you know quarter notes are coming up, then it's like, okay, you can pretty much breathe and just relax. And you usually read, like a few bars ahead. And if you see that there's like a cluster of notes, or like, oh man, those 16 notes are gonna come up, so I just need to know where it starts and where it ends, and then I'll do those 16 notes, like going from beginning to end
using
in that
the scale.
scale. Yeah. So it's not that bad. It's not that hard, unless there was something, if there's like an accidental in there, if there's like a sharp or a flat, that's kind of like, okay, I need to know that that's gonna be sharp. I have my old, like, I was rewired, I was wired to think that way, and
I got yelled at a lot for like, Kai, it's an accidental. Just write it on top of the music. Grab your pen right now. Like music teacher, like, you don't have a pen on your.
We're gonna
stand.
have an accident in this in this room right now, Kai, if you don't listen.
Yeah, and like that, I was first chair. So, Jim said reading can be a distraction on stage, though. So you need to learn the song even if you sight read, and that is like pretty like in those concert settings to even that. Yeah, if in a concert setting, if you're playing by yourself, I almost ban music. If you're a performer, if you're by yourself, imagine, okay, because Jake plays like solo. Imagine if Jake went on stage and you paid like how much money to go see Jake Shimabukuro, and he sat there like a recital and he put his music in his music stand and just played that way. Like it would be like, oh well, he's not really a master. He's just reading his music. Well, it takes away a lot.
I was gonna say like with like an orchestra or like a band. Oh,
I didn't hear that.
Oh, that's I
was trying to weave Jake in there.
Thanks. Well, I was saying like when you look at like orchestra musicians or band musicians, they have sheet music and they have stands and stuff, but those guys like they know their music though. It's not like they're going in blind, and then it's there to remind them, but then they also like you want to be able to like look up and look at the conductor too. So like look away from your music, know it well enough to like be able to look away, look for cues.
I wish they were specific, like if they were talking about stuff like this, like with music, like music sheets or like tabs and stuff, or like just lyrics and chords and stuff, because those are two totally different things. And because I would be more sympathetic if you had like tabs, like of music and stuff. I'd be like, okay, well, maybe that's a little bit more, but then like sheet music with just chords and lyrics, it's a little, it's a little bit harder for me to feel bad, because it's it's just like chords, it's patterns, it's chords and patterns. Not that I don't feel bad. It's just harder for me to feel bad for that person rather than the other person.
But even then, I mean, there are very few people who sight read tabs very well. Like,
tabs aren't actually made to sight read. Like they're all made for learning.
There's one person that I know who can do it.
Really?
Is Rio.
Oh yeah, Rio. Rio is a monster.
Rio Saito, right? Yeah.
Saito.
He can sight read tabs.
Yeah. Like ukulele tab,
because like the whole idea of like standard notation, right? Musical notation is that you can see the shape like either going up or descending or where
you can
the notes are going. And with tabs, it's just like numbers. So
I guess the numbers are getting higher, but no. But yeah, Ryo Saito is really good. I mean, his mom, like, I mean, his recent stuff, like his mom's kind of helped him a lot with, you know, with that. But then I remember him saying that he credits Dominator a lot for like his beginning stuff when, you know, when he first started out, because he would just go on Dominator's website and just read and play all the tabs, any tabs that he had of Jake's.
Yeah. I was just thinking about Dominator too, because we were close to Roseville. But he doesn't live there anymore.
That's right. Yeah. He moved closer to
Reno. Yeah, he's in Reno now. But he's like, I
haven't seen that because this is gonna be like a little bit more like he doesn't come to Kauai anymore, so I don't like, because he sold his timeshare. He used to have a timeshare with his wife. He used to come every like year or 2 years, so I would see him every now and then.
For those of you who don't know, in the early days of Ukulele Underground, there was very few ukulele websites or resources in general when we started, like 2007 or so. So there was us, there was Uke Hunt, there was Live Ukulele, Tropical Storm Hawaii,
Tropical Storm,
and there was Dominators, Uke Tabs, and that was about it. You know.
Isn't
and no one else.
Nobody was
nobody else.
Nobody was making lessons on YouTube and stuff. And,
Isn't like, I know that there's Uke Minutes with Dominator with how to read tabs.
Yeah, because we figured that's what he was, you know, that's what he was known for, and I'm not very good at reading tabs, so like we had Dominator come in and just kind of explain.
Actually, we went to his timeshare.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah, we went to the timeshare
and filmed there.
I missed that guy.
Yeah.
I know there's been like lessons where it's like both me and you we filmed the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we look at the tabs that you wrote out and we're like, it's upside down.
I'm terrible. I've mentioned it a bunch of times. I'm like, guys, because people used to like hit me up for tabs and stuff. Oh, do you have the tabs for this song? Tabs for that song? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to read or write tabs. And people wanted to like call me out, like, oh, you just don't want to share. It's like, no, I'm actually not that good.
Not a tab writer.
No.
When that happened, or like other instances too, I'm like, I should know this though, because I use tabs to like learn guitar, so like I should be used to like the way that it's oriented and stuff. And then it's like, how did I miss that?
It's contagious.
It's like upside down. I was like, now for the tabs that we provide for the site, like me and Aaron use like a tab program, so that definitely helps. I think like, if I didn't and I was just writing it out myself, half the tabs would be upside down.
Yeah, like, or wrong, or like doesn't actually fit in the measure.
Yeah, I mean, an evidence of it is me just calling the A string the bottom string. Like, nobody else calls the A string the bottom string.
Yeah.
People would say the G
technically
is
the top string.
Yeah.
If you're talking about pitch.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, that's, you know, that's evidence that I'm like, I don't really know like the written side of, you know, of ukulele music or modern ukulele music with you kids in your tabs. You kids in your tabs. So
you're from the Just Press school.
Yeah, I am. I know that, and I'm from the school of like reading sheet music. Like I'm working on the secret project right now, and like I had like 4 pages of just like ridiculous like chords and stuff, like chords that you wouldn't normally see. I had like
in sheet music format.
Yeah, sheet music format. Like I didn't even know like notes can be clustered that close together. So I, you know, whenever you see say like a chord, it's like on top of each other, right? So it's like say C E G, it's like this.
It's like then very evenly spaced.
So if it's too close, usually the note goes on the right. Yeah. If it's too close, there's gonna be a note on the left.
Oh.
So there's there's like a chord where like it's where like an F and an F sharp in the same chord. I'm like, that's not. Why is that a chord?
You can't even write it. Like, how would you even write that?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to say what what song or who the writer is.
One has a natural and one doesn't.
Like, what the heck? So like, there's that there's that chord. It goes, it's like, it's not, it doesn't sound right, but for me, like, I saw it like in the sheet music, and I'm like, oh, how am I gonna play that chord? But it's it's more clear to me than like if I would read the tab of it
Yeah.
or something. I don't
That's
know.
like horror music.
I think. Well, and I think like all of us kind of came from that just press kind of like learning, right?
Yeah.
And as like ukulele spread in popularity, that's where it's like more people wanted tabs and more people wanted sheet music, and that's kind of where it's like I feel like you get more of these people who feel like they have to play like it's a recital or something.
Yeah.
Because like before like people didn't even make sure that you could play. They would just hand you an ukulele. You would sit down in a group, and like nobody would be like, you're not playing that C chord right. Your finger is wrong.
Right.
You just like strum, and the sound of the whole group drowns you out. So it's like you can play wrong things, but you never know. So
Yeah, I've never come across like cluster chords like that. I was just so like overwhelmed. Like, how I only have 4 strings. Like, how am I supposed to do that?
yeah.
There was one where like it goes like F, like F and F sharp, and then like it resolves to the C. It goes to that. I'm like, what? Why would you play F and F sharp at the same, like, in the same chord? Like, that's doesn't. Why? Why do you torture yourself so? Like, why? Don't do that.
Well, even like for us, like when we tab out some songs here, it's like we start tabbing them out, and then we look at it, and it's like, this tab doesn't make any sense. Like, I get like you could read it and try and play it, but again, you would have to be like real to be able to use it. Like,
I don't know how Rio
right?
does it. Like, because I mean, you guys are correct. Like, it's not like you get a visual of like where the music is going. It's gonna go up or down.
Actually,
or
I'm not
whatever,
too sure if maybe because I remember he was sight reading some of Benny Chong's stuff, and I can't remember if it was only tabs or if there was the musical staff above it. You know how.
Oh, but that's still impressive.
But even then,
that's still impressive.
knowing which string, which fret, and then being able to play it. He just did it on the spot.
He's an animal. That kid. he did a TED talk.
He's he's a sponge for music.
Yeah.
So
he's so good now. Like that. The last time we saw him play, or we saw him like in that kind of setting, was in Korea. Yeah, and like he deviated away from like because he used to just play like Jake stuff, and then like we heard a lot of his like originals that night, and I was like, my goodness, this kid is amazing.
Yeah.
He's like a teenager, so good.
Yeah, kind of, and like stepping out of the box too, taking chances.
Right.
Like, I mean, just one of the things that keyed me into like, oh, this kid is a professional is I think he got an encore.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember that he chose a slow song.
Try not to like.
It wasn't about flash. It was about like precision and like emotion.
Sounds like something real.
So like
very Japanese.
So it was. I was impressed just because he didn't go for that easy whatever knock him dead kind of thing.
But that's the thing. Like in Japan though, like remember when we went to Japan, where like we had this set because it usually kills. Like we have this set that kills. We went to Japan. No one cared. We thought, but
like
they
a polite
were really,
clap.
they were really
they're
like enjoying themselves.
Very polite.
But they weren't like, they weren't
screaming in the audience.
We thought they weren't into it, but that's just like how they are.
Yeah, but they really really enjoyed it.
It's tough.
It was very polite. It was very tough.
I heard this guy like recount like he went to a Japanese concert. And he said that like he usually goes to like punk concerts, and so he knows like loud concerts. He said that Japanese concert was like the loudest concert he's ever been to.
Really?
But every single person, but it didn't sound like mess of just like people yelling.
Yeah.
It was because every single person was in time. Like they're so good about just like doing the, it's like, oh my god.
They're clapping at all the appropriate points. Yeah.
Or it's like if you see
Singing
Japanese
along.
concerts like online, like they have the glow sticks, they're all waving it at the same
it's very
exact
orderly.
time. It's like, oh my gosh. I don't know.
Any kind of like Asian stuff like they have moves too, like with the glow sticks. Like I've noticed, like there's like some like it's like a Japanese like pop band, like J-pop band, like they had like the moves and stuff like with the glow sticks. It was amazing.
That's why I'm glad like
I wasn't born in Japan because I'm like terrible with rhythm, so I just know I'd be that one kid in the concert
little
who's
too
like,
late.
who's that? Like, and very distinctively like, that
It was
one
tough.
kid.
Yeah, I constantly had to ask Fumi like, how did we do? Like,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't know how we did. Like,
did we
honestly,
do
like,
okay?
I'm not used to, I mean, I'm not saying that like, oh, I usually wow the crowd or whatever. It's just like, is the crowd okay? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yeah. Oh, I kind of wanted to, like, talking about tabs.
Yeah.
So this past weekend, I was able to hang out with Russell.
Okay, yeah.
So on YouTube,
Bus.
he's RussBus415.
That's an
And-
OG YouTuber
And
right
that
there.
is, yeah, he was one of the first UU forum, like the regular UU forum members, like regulars.
Yeah.
And we've been friends for like, you know, the
Long
past
time,
10 years. So he has played music with a bunch of different people, you know, within the ukulele community. And so we were kind of discussing kind of about that, like, you know, memorizing, going from sheet music and tabs and stuff like that. And so he has done videos with Dominator, who he said that, you know, kind of he's the kind of person who he approaches the video, like making a video, let's just run it like 30 times and take the best take, you know, and because his part has to be like, Dominator is very hard on himself, and wants every note to be perfect, or every note to be played exactly the way that you know it was originally played. Whereas he also has played or made videos with like Ken Middleton, who is from the school of like, let's just see how it comes out. You know, like we'll rehearse it maybe once, and then we'll turn on the camera, and whatever comes out is the authentic, you know, kind of, you get the vibe of what it felt like in the room when we filmed it. And so I don't know, what's your take on both of those approaches to music? Because Dominator is the way that he is. He has really accurate tabs because he's like that, and Ken is very free flowing and you know, like spontaneous because he's like that.
Well, I feel that, like, you know, if you're gonna collaborate with somebody, if you're gonna like play music with someone, you should at least know what kind of school they come from. You know, like if it's gonna be like that Dominator kind, you know, so you're gonna approach someone, you should already kind of know what to expect. So if I were to approach, say, like a Dominator, and I should be like, okay, he's probably gonna want to run it like a bunch of times, and like he's gonna want to know that, like, okay, where are we gonna go, you know, like, and during this part, like,
kind of map everything.
What are you gonna play, whatever, you know. So for myself, I collaborate with a lot of people too, and I've collaborated with both of them, with Dominator and with you know, with Ken Middleton, and I have a funny Ken Middleton story after this.
Okay. It's not the rated R version.
No, not like that one. No. I have many. Anyway, so, you know, I do prefer collaborating with people that just want to, because I'm from that school, like Ken Middleton. Like, I just want to see like how it goes. I do want to have a plan. You know, I'm not completely like free form and stuff. Like, I at least want to know where we're gonna go. You know, like, but I don't need to practice it like 30, 50, like 40 times. It's not because like I think I can just do it. You know, like, but I feel that, you know, catching that, like, that genuine, like, music making, you know, like, and there is, for me, a difference between, you know, like how it sounds genuinely and how it sounds like kind of mechanically when you over practice like something. So but you know, people are gonna approach it those two ways. You know, you're always gonna find people like that, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with doing it like one way or the other, but Dominator being the way that he is, and that's probably why he moved to making tabs. He probably wanted to play it exactly like how the CD or the album, like the recording was played. So he does it that way. But for myself, like, I just kind of hear it and I'm like, okay, I think it kind of sounds like this. So when I was in the phase, in the While My Guitar Gently Weeps like phase, I wasn't playing it exactly like how he was, and I would often get corrected because there were like tabs out there like, oh, hey, when you play that part, isn't it supposed to be like this? I'm like, I don't know how it's supposed to go, like, but it sounds okay, and that is the chord that he's playing. So
we just did we just shot a video for a lesson, and in the lesson you're like, dang it, I keep doing this because this is how I play the song, but in the original song it's supposed to be a slide.
I taught it this, so it goes like this. Oh. So, but the way they play it, it's the same thing.
It's the same notes.
So
right?
you don't slide, you like hammer it or
Yeah. It's like hammer pull.
hammer pull instead of slide.
Same notes, same exact thing, but it's like, but because they don't see my finger go all the way up here, they're thinking it's like it's different, you know. But
yeah,
I cracked up when you're like, I keep doing it the way that I do it without the slide, and I just like started laughing.
sounds exactly the same.
It does. But I want it to be authentic. I think I said that.
Yeah.
Like, I want the authenticity.
Yeah, and it's good that you like strive for that. But I was just like laughing because I was like thinking we always have that joke of like somebody being like, actually, it was
Push
done
up
with the
my glass.
Push up the
slide.
glasses. It's a slide. It's not a hammer pull. Like,
Yeah.
So
Someone will say.
So here's my Ken Middleton story, and it's about that, about collaborating.
Okay.
One time we were at NAM, and we were at our hotel room, and he came up. Watt Wahlberg came up too. He, all those guys. Remember that one year where they all came up. Me and Matt played body surfing. It was that. So Ken Middleton, he wanted to play, like, I don't know what song it was, but he wanted to do it reggae. Like, he's like, oh, because yeah, you're laughing already. So he's like, Aldrin, I don't know, I can't do a Ken Middleton. I've been watching you play.
Like a very terrible British.
Yeah. So he's like, oh, I've been watching you play, Aldrin, and I've noticed that you like to play a lot of, like a lot of reggae kind of beats and songs and stuff. And I thought, we could play one of my songs, but we could kind of turn it reggae. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, he wants to play kind of reggae and stuff. But Ken Middleton's reggae it's not reggae. And I was like trying to keep up with him and stuff because Ken Middleton's gonna Ken Middleton it up. Ken Middleton's gonna Ken Middleton. And but he's trying to do it, and then and I was trying to follow, and he's like, this doesn't seem to be working. He's like, this doesn't seem to be working. It seems like you're having a hard time playing the reggae beat. I'm like, are you kidding me, Ken? It's like, you seem to be having a hard time grasping the, it's basically the same song, but we're just playing it in a reggae style. Like, you don't have to do this or that. We're just playing the reggae style. I'm like, I don't think you're playing the reggae style, but like
I'm having a hard time following along with the Ken Middleton version of reggae.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh yeah, maybe we should play something else. And it didn't work. I wish I remember, like I could remember what song that was, which song. Yeah. But it's just like, how is this reggae? Like this, it's as if like you did the skank on 1 and 3 instead of 2 and 4.
Oh,
it's like it was that weird. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Was it like not as swung too? Because I can imagine Ken doing that too, where it's more like,
I guess, I don't know, like what, but
instead of
that's what it felt like. It felt like it was on like on the other beat. Like it's like, what? Hi, why?
Yeah,
this is not reggae. I'm like, this. Whoa. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not. I don't think Ken Middleton's gonna release a reggae album anytime soon. Like,
that's too bad that it wasn't on video, because then that would definitely.
I think he had it. Like he has whatever that was. Yeah. But I don't want to be like, hey Ken, remember that one time where you couldn't play reggae? Like, can I have that?
No, that you couldn't play.
I couldn't play. Remember that time that I couldn't play reggae with you? But yeah,
It almost sounds like when people have like strokes and they forget how to talk, right? And they're like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "Blah blah 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 blah." Like they can't even speak. Like couldn't even play.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my one of many Ken Middleton stories. I have many stories about Ken Middleton. 99% of them I should not say. But that's the rare 1% that I can share with people.
Talking about like tabs and like being prepared and then like just letting it, seeing what happens. Like that's also like another thing is like people ask us for tabs for songs where like you improvise, and it's like, but if we tab it out, that's kind of like against the point of improvising, right?
Yeah, we get that a lot. It's like, well, like somebody will send us like a video or something. It's, oh, here's a video of Kale Gamia, like like showing because he plays for like Hawaii Music Supply and stuff, for the video,
like a demo.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, he's doing he's doing like this demo for this ukulele, and like can you tab this out for me? It's like I think he's just like
playing
improvising, just
around
playing whatever.
in
He's
a-
like,
in a
yeah, but
certain
can you tab it out for me? It's like, one, I don't do tabs. Like, two, that defeats the purpose of him just like kind of improvising. If we write it out.
Yeah, or like the songs that we have on the site that people ask for tabs is like Europa, right? I think that's a improvised song, and then
Little Wing.
Little Wing, yeah. And then like they
Jason's
ask,
parts. People ask for Jason's part all the time.
Oh, can't you just tab like? It's like, well, that's how
That
Jason
was-
would play that song.
Yeah.
Like that's
and that was the
totally
thing that
Jason's
Jason
style.
came up with on the
the spot.
spot. So even Jason wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to recreate that. But I mean,
I think like during the Friday Jam, even like there's some songs where it's like you just play whatever, you just add in little beats, and somebody's like, "Oh, can you tell me what Aldrina is doing there?" And I'm like,
I don't think Aldrina can tell you what Aldrina's doing there.
I was like, I can tell you it's in the key of G, and you can kind of play around with that scale, but it's like I don't know, it's on the spot, like you just come up with it, you just play around.
but we do have a full course on Ukulele Underground on how to start improvising, how to learn how to improvise on your ukulele and create your own solos on the spot.
Yeah.
And it's called Solo Secrets
Secrets
Revealed.
Revealed.
So if you're a UU Plus member, and you haven't checked it out yet, just go check that out.
Please do. Yeah, I always like kind of direct people to there if they want to learn how to do like those little like things, ditties that that I play on Fridays. Definitely.
Yeah. And then you'll have your own things that other people might want to tab.
There you go. There you go.
And you'll say like, I don't know, I just did it on the spot.
Yeah, I just played reggae on the spot. Like reggae sounds like to me. Any other questions? Sorry, that was a long-winded answer to one question.
Yeah, we kind of went on some tangents.
Maybe we can answer. We had a couple forum questions,
Okay.
so let's-
lightning round.
I think this was from Marcus,
Okay.
and he mentioned that he's getting unwanted noise when he does when he pulls off from chords and stuff.
Okay.
And he doesn't think it's his strings, and it's more noticeable when he plugs in. Is there something he can do, or what?
Well, is it? I mean, I would kind of have to hear it because I can't pinpoint it unless I know exactly what it is. If Marcus, if you can send me a video or something, message me on Ukulele Underground. They just click on that green button on the bottom right, and send me a video, especially plugged in. If you say it's a lot more prominent when it's plugged in. Plug your ukulele in and demonstrate it to me, and I can kind of pinpoint where it's coming from.
Yeah.
So,
or come into one-on-one live coaching.
Yeah, one-on-one live coaching. Better yet, that. Because I don't know, I'd be coming in kind of blind, so I don't want to give you the wrong advice. So that's something very, very specific.
Yeah, there in general though, there is gonna be a little bit noise.
Yeah, just because when you lift your fingers, you're gonna hear that. But if he says it's not his strings, then there must be something else going on.
There are also ways to kind of mute your strings during certain, I don't know, critical, depending on what you're trying to do, where you can mute the strings that would be ringing so that they don't ring.
Yeah, pinky mute would be one of them. But sometimes, like I say, if I'm just playing a bar chord, you can just lift up on your fingers, stop it, to stop, instead of putting your pinky finger down for the pinky mute. You can do G, and you can use your thumb up here to kind of to have it stop from ringing. So instead of going, where you would kind of hear the noise coming from you lifting up on those frets. But I'm guessing that's not the case here.
You got to figure out what instances and what he's doing.
Yeah. And then the other question was Allison, and they're saying that going from G to E minor, it feels like they're losing the support of their ukulele. So is there any tips for switching from those two chords?
If you're having a hard time switching from G to E minor, I would suggest checking out the grip of how you're gripping your ukulele. If you're sitting down, it's not that bad, because you can go from from G to E minor by just taking your thumb, making sure your thumb up here is kind of supporting it, because you're kind of not pushing it down, but you're just kind of gripping it a little bit from the top so that it doesn't move anywhere. See? So if I were to play A minor, I'm not touching the string, so this would be me touching the string, but it's just kind of like this, where I can still play my G, hold it in place. So if I'm playing a G chord, and you can also use this and this part of your knuckle. So I'm kind of holding my ukulele from two different points, which is my thumb and then that one knuckle. So from the G, see, I'm kind of holding it here. I'll show it to you from this angle. So G, I can let it go. See, it's still kind of stable, to the E minor. And I'm using this part of my knuckle. See, like my pointer finger knuckle, it's like goes so right here on the side. This side right here, holding it from here. Thumb goes at the top. So when I play the G chord, I can let go, still holding the ukulele. Yeah. But it's just experiments with different ways to kind of keep your ukulele still. That's just one way to do it is to have different points of contact with the uke so that it doesn't spring forward.
Yeah, or fall down.
Or fall down. Yeah.
Yeah, when I read that, I immediately thought that they're probably like doing the pinching thing, right?
Yeah,
like
they're probably pinching them from the back over the thumb like this.
Like,
and then you let go and it kind of falls down onto your.
And it goes forward because you're pinching this way.
Yeah.
So because you're pinching this way, this is lovely for all the audio podcast listeners.
Yeah.
Because you're pinching this way, when you let go of the G, of course it'll go forward like this.
But I've seen people do that too, where they're holding it and then they let go and then it falls onto their hand.
Oh yeah, like this.
Yeah.
Well, because like they're not like exactly pushing forward with the pressure, but then they're like, because they're holding their cord like that.
Yeah.
They're not supporting any of
down.
the vertical motion. Yeah.
So there's figure out different points on where you can keep your ukulele still. For that particular chord change, I use it two different points, which is my my knuckle here, going down on this part of the ukulele, and my thumb at the top.
I would say too, like for pretty much all the open chords, right? Like on the like from 4 frets down, like you shouldn't need to really put your thumb like behind the neck, and do that kind of. It's more for when you're doing bar chords, and even when you're doing bar chords, right? Like you're still supporting the neck using your palm in some ways too.
Yeah, because even if I'm playing all the way up here, my thumb is up here, so it just gets a nice secure grip on the ukulele.
And that's like the other thing that we always tell people, like it's really, if you feel like you have to add more pressure, it really shouldn't be like
it shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't. I mean, beyond like the first maybe 5-10 days of the ukulele, because your fingers are just not used to playing your strings. But if you play longer than that, it shouldn't hurt.
Yeah. Or just if it hurts, then just take a break.
And
unless you're playing like 4 hours straight,
worry about
trenching it up.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
I think, but like whenever we have one-on-one coaching, right? Like we never tell people like, obviously, like you're not pushing down hard enough. That's what you need to do.
That's never the answer.
It's always like, maybe you want to try swiveling your wrist or your fingers. You want to try moving your fingers this way. So, like for people who feel like that is the answer, I'm like, I just gotta push down harder enough. Maybe take a step back and try
repositioning or
Yeah, so that's it for this week's Thursday live lesson. Welcome back, Aaron Nakamura. We had Mike 2 weeks in a row, but we'll still bring him in sometime next month. We had him this month. We're gonna try to bring him in once a month. But I know a lot of people are like, hey, we liked Mike, and I actually enjoyed the last 2 episodes with Mike. I was just telling Aaron like, did you see his challenge from last week?
I listened to both episodes. It was great.
Jeez, he went from like Ipu to like back to jazz, and it's like, oh man. We got something special in that Mr. Odo guy.
Yeah.
So for those of you folks who are fans, probably next month now we'll have him. But this week we have Aaron Nakamura. He Aaroned it up today. Good job. Welcome back. Welcome back. So once again, please download this podcast over on iTunes. It doesn't matter if you guys are watching this on UU Plus. If you want to go back and listen to it in the car, maybe take us with you for a long car ride, you can go to iTunes and download Thursday Live Podcast. Look up Ukulele Underground on iTunes. And if you're listening to this on iTunes and you want to watch all the stuff that I just showed, just like how to hold the G chord when switching to E minor chord, if you want to do that, watch us over on UU Plus. That's ukuleleunderground.com. All you got to do is sign up for UU Plus, and you get lots of stuff. You have one-on-one coaching. You have all the live streaming events that we have here in Ukulele Underground. You have improvement systems. You have all these seminars. You have all these guest teachers. You have lots of stuff. All for you folks who want to sign up for UU Plus. So check it out. What you're waiting for? Take your ukulele playing to the next level and sign up for UU Plus. On behalf of myself, Kahai, and Aaron, is going to be Thursday Live lessons, and stick around for Songs Made Easy and one-on-one coaching after this. Aloha.